Let's come back home now. A 5-year-old Kagiso girl will know in a week's time whether her skin transplant has been successful. Now, it's the second time that this groundbreaking surgery has been carried out in South Africa. Celiwe Maseko suffered third-degree burns on 35% of her body when her dress caught fire earlier this year. Well, we now talk to the plastic surgeon, Dr Ridwan Mia. Doc, welcome to eNCA. It looks like you're getting more and more popular in this field, and this is something that is new not only for South Africa but also for the African continent. How different was this one from Pippie Kruger?
There was a couple of things. Firstly, we had to graft a lot more extensively on her back, which made it a little bit technically more difficult. Also, the fact that this is a person of color, the skin doesn't have pigment in it. So, you know, we had to factor that in and also counsel the parents extensively that with time there will be some ingrowth of pigment into those cells, but initially it will be very light colored skin and won't match her surrounding skin. It's only the second time in the world that we're doing such a procedure. First time in the States they've done somebody of color, so this is the second time. So that made it quite unique. Another aspect of it was the Pippie Kruger fund paid for the surgery. You know, I've seen reports that it partially paid, but it actually paid for the entire amount. There was a big amount, and the entire amount was covered by the Pippie Kruger fund, which made it quite unique for us, where a previous victim was using their tragedy to help someone else.
And what does it entail? I mean, when we saw it happen with Pippie Kruger, it was the first time, and we know that, you know, you had to have sirens getting the skin from the airport, bringing it into South Africa. Was it the same case? Was it the same fuss made over Celiwe as was done over Pippie Kruger, just to make sure that this happens in the right time, it's refrigerated properly, and all the right security measures are put into place to try and get it to happen?
Absolutely. I think this time it was a more slick run operation. Absolutely. We had the Netcare 911 team under Mandy Tobkin. They were fantastic. They picked up everything from the airport with the help of the airport clinic. They were able to get the skin literally off tarmac and into the hospital. So I think the journey was slightly longer from the airport, from OR Tambo to the hospital, but like by 4 minutes compared to last time. But overall, the journey from the actual airport to the hospital was much quicker. So they ran it very well, and my hats off to the entire theatre staff. I think we also had the luxury of being able to plan this operation with more precision. We knew what to expect this time, and you know, the staff were great at handling.
What goes into doing an operation of this magnitude? You know, it's a world first, it's an African first, but it's also, even for you as a surgeon, it's something that is quite challenging to your profession. So what goes into doing something like this?
Well, essentially we had to make sure that we took the biopsy specimens a few weeks ago. So about 3.5 weeks ago we took some specimens. We had to send those to the States in a very specialized container containing a growth medium that will sustain those pieces of skin. And once it got there, it's a specialized laboratory facility that's completely blocked off. You literally have to wear a spacesuit to walk through it. You know, it's very highly qualified technicians who work on the skin. It's a 2.5-hour growth period, and once they reach that growth period, then to send it back is there's 24-hour viability time of that skin. We had to coordinate the logistics of flying it from Boston via Atlanta to Joburg and not lose any time in that flight. So, you know, we were even panicking a little bit when they had the Boston bombing, because it was in the region of
that time, yes.
Yeah, and Cambridge is exactly where Cambridge is a little district inside Boston where the MIT campus is and on which the Genzyme lab is, and we worried that the skin wouldn't be able to leave on time and get to us if they had locked down that part of the city. So fortunately they got that sorted out, and we didn't have to worry about that. So when the skin got here, it was getting it from the airport to us. We literally had to work within that last hour, and you know, they gave us 14 pieces of skin. Sorry, they gave us 15, we used 14 on her, so we had one to spare, which we could show the parents and show them that very thin piece of skin. I had to ask a fellow colleague, Dr Marshall Murdoch, another plastic surgeon, to assist me, as well as my younger brother, who's a GP who regularly assists me with ops. And I think 2 assistants made the op so much easier, because it's a bigger child. In that way it was a bit different, and we had to turn her over, and grafting on the back was technically quite difficult. So going through that, you know, it took us through the paces. But fortunately, I think the staff had organized themselves very well.
As opposed to last time. What is the reaction of the parents? Because obviously once this thing has now become public knowledge, and we know that it's a possibility, what is the reaction of the parents once they saw and realized that this is now becoming a reality, and ideally their child's life in a way was was saved, you know, from the agony of having to deal with these sort of scars?
I think to a large extent these parents over the last few weeks have been becoming more and more familiar with it. We fortunately got Dr. Ellen Barrett from Genzyme to come through and explain the process to them as well. We've been, with my team, we've been sitting and explaining to them the whole process and teaching them about skin grafts and what does it mean to clone skin, and you know what the implications further down the line were for them, as well as we were lucky enough to get Pippie Kruger, the mother of Pippie Kruger, to come and share her experiences with them as to what to expect as a parent, and I think that orientated them so much more. They seemed very excited yesterday, a bit nervous, but they seemed quite excited, and I think they were very happy overall to see that, you know, the main focus of this was to prevent us from taking skin from her non-scarred parts of her body, so preventing her entire body, which would have been the case, from being scarred. So we, you know, by doing this procedure, I think they were very happy with that aspect.
Dr. Mia, as well, congratulations. The highest order that a country can be bestowed upon a man. Very, very well done, and we wish you many more such of these operations, because this is ideally something amazing not only for the country but also for the rest of the continent.
Thank you, I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure having with us. That was plastic surgeon Dr. Ridwan Mia.
News that moves. eNCA.com.